Okay, so we're on leads now, and it's kind of like a line leader. They go first, they lead. So you're leading. Why do I have to introduce the quote? Why can't I just drop a quote in my research project? It's so the reader knows who said it, giving credit so the reader knows where it came from, and to show the reader you're about to use a quote. So it's like, hey, these are not my words, these are this person's words, and then here's my quote. So write that down. You can write it up here or down below. But here's some examples you want to fit in somewhere here. I do want you to write all of these according to the author. And then here's my quote. The article states that, comma. You could also say the author mentions that, argues that. You just don't want to use the same one because that's boring if you keep saying according to, according to, according to. You want to vary it up. Use varying examples on here. Okay, next. Nope, we don't need that. Okay, flip your last flap. Last one. Here we go. Citing a source. We're going to start with the top flap. Citing a source shows where you found your information. You put a citation after the quote, and that's in between parentheses, and we'll write down an example in a little bit. It gives credit to the source of information. So it's kind of like, when you're like, hey, by the way, these are parentheses. I like to think of it as like, hey, by the way, this is where I found it from with the parentheses. And it'll also match in your works cited or your bibliography, which in an essay, that's the last page of your essay. In your research project you're about to do, that'll be the last slide in your slideshow. Kind of like movie credits at the end of a movie, gives credit to who worked on it. We're going to skip that video. Okay, so examples, you're going to write them on the bottom of the flap and leave some space because we're going to write all of these. So what does it look like? And there's some cool apps that will do it for you. We'll use EasyBib add-on in our slideshow or Google Doc. But this is how it's written. So it has the last name, Collins, comma, Suzanne. So if I use a quote from Hunger Games, this is how I'd write it. So you're copying this down right now. Collins, comma, Suzanne, period. Why is it written like this? This is weird. It's just because the MLA format says so. Hunger Games, italicized for the title, period. New York Scholastic, that's the publisher. 2008 is when it was written, and then it's a print, it's a book. If it was an ebook, we would say web or ebook. Okay, this is citing a source. All the information, if someone said, I wonder where that quote came from, you'd see Collins in parentheses after the quote, and then at the end of the presentation or the essay, you'd have this big, long citation. Here's another one. Here's the title, Holiday comes off DL for possible farewell with Cardinals. This comes from KY3 News. It's a news article. It's from 30 September 2016. And it's from the web. So copy that down on your bottom flap. You can pause now if you need to. So we've got the author's name, the title. We've already went over this. Publisher, the date. It's a book. It's printed. So if you don't have an author, like you find research from online and there is no author, then you'll just start with the title. Then we got the source, the date. It came from the internet. Why do I have to cite my sources? Let's play this video.
do. It seems like a lot. I just don't really see why I have to go through so much trouble to log every single source I find, stuff like that. Can you help? I sure can. Finding sources may seem like a tedious process, but its benefits are vast. We live on a very large planet, scattered all across that planet of scientists, scholars, and researchers just like you. Now, let's say you want to look into cigarette smoking research, specifically the effects of cigarette smoking. You may see that a scientist in India did 10 years worth of experiments on the effects of cigarette smoking on human blood cell count. He may submit his findings to academic journals where it will become available to the entire world. Now, if you want to do a research paper on some of the effects of cigarette smoking, you won't have to take 10 years to come up with an answer. One has been provided for you through another scientist's work. And since he just saved you 10 years in lab research, don't you think it's worth mentioning him in your paper? So I guess you could say that citing my sources is a way of publicly saying thank you to the scholars that have saved me time and helped me find the answers I'm looking for. Absolutely. By citing the researcher in India, you not only gave him his due credit, but you're also helping anyone who reads your research to connect with him and what he accomplished. It also proves that you're not just making claims that haven't been tested. You can better argue your point by sharing what the research found.
Okay, so this is what it looks like if you're writing a research paper. At the end of it, you list all of your sources, and in your research slideshow that you're about to do, you'll also list all your sources, but now there's some amazing apps that will do that for you, but you still need to give credit just like movie credits at the end of a movie. So you've got the author's name, title, place it was published again, all of these pieces of information you need to include. And that is the end of our show. So make sure that you show me your Flipbook and then I will tell you what you can work on when you are done.